Welcome to the Love and Victory Show with Val, where we will bring you candid conversation. In each conversation, we will talk about real life ups and downs while tackling unresolved matters. We will also unmask issues and truly speak straightforward and candid about our needs and brokenness, while allowing ourselves to exhale so that we can become victorious. This is a place where you can be open to the possibilities of living life in abundance while gaining tools to become bold and complete. So let's get to it.
Poke the bear. Before we get going with this conversation, I've already allowed them to introduce themselves, but they're going to come back in if they need to. You want to at the end and let everybody know where they can find you and what exactly that you do. But before we get going, we always got to come with the acronym.
Absolutely.
I can't hear you.
Absolutely.
You too. There you go.
Absolutely. So the acronym for today is PROVOKE.
Mhm.
So P is for perspective, seeing beyond your own point of view. R is for restraint, knowing when not to react. O is for openness, being real and honest in conversation. And V is for vulnerability. Vulnerability. Sorry. Tongue twister. Sharing feelings without fear. And O is for observation, the ability to recognize emotional cues in situational dynamics. K is for kindness, intentional use of respectful and empathetic communication. And E is for energy, managing emotional and mental resources for effective interaction.
Wow. I actually love that word provoke. It does break down and it helps us to have this conversation in regards to don't poke the bear. You know, we
Can
really,
you provoke someone with kindness?
Ooh.
I see the word kindness in there.
That's a good question. We have a therapist on here. Maybe she can tell us. I don't know. Just don't poke the bear for me. So we're ready to have that conversation. Before I get started on that, did y'all have anything else for me before I go?
Oh, no, man.
Okay, then. All right, before I get going on this, I'm going to ask Aneika, when you heard this, since it's your first time on here, when you heard that title, what was your first thought?
Baylor Bears.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know.
You thought somebody went to Baylor over here, and we wanted to talk about
I
that.
was like, did they look at my resume? That's a good one. And, when I posted it online, people were like, what is this about? And my only initial reaction was, I don't know.
That's real good. Yeah. Well, I think, and that's what one of the things that we do, we like you to come on here unprepared, because if you are prepared, then it's a scripted show. And the one thing that we don't ever want to do, I think you just turned me down. There you go. One thing we don't ever want to do is become scripted. We do want to be thought provoking. Yep. We do want to have people really think about what they're putting out there and what they're saying. But at the same time, we want you to be natural. So I like that response that you gave your people. We say, watch the show.
There you go.
All righty.
Tune in and find
out. So Alan, what was your thought when you saw it?
I did think in poking the bears, like, okay, how can we be provoking, to others? How do we irritate others? What do we do that, presses others, buttons, whether intentionally, whether unintentionally. And so that was kind of the first thing I thought of. And not that I would ever or have ever done that to my wife.
Of course.
Of course not.
But that was my first.
We don't.
Okay. Well, Brother Carter, I'm going to ask you, when you heard the title or when you realized the title was there, what was your first thought? I saw it.
I just seen it this morning.
I cannot with him. I cannot with Brother Carter. Okay.
Oh yeah, well, I feel that this was something that you need, that you wanted to therapize in our lives, because I have a tendency to
not read the room,
provoke you at times.
Okay.
I ain't gonna say poke the bear. I'm gonna say provoke you at times. And ask the question: can you provoke someone with kindness? And I answer my own question: yes, you can. You can also be kind and be provoking.
That sounds like
so I thought it's something that you want to talk about, so we can get our household.
Sound like
it sounded a little razzy to me. Something's razzy going on here.
Sound like to me. My mics went off. Okay, there you go. Sound like to me, you are setting up a narrative to protect yourself. But I want to say that that's not how I see it. And that wasn't a thought. Part of it was provoking. I think we all can do that. I think that when Kelsey and I were discussing the title, I really thought about marriages and relationships, because sometimes people do things and unknowing that they're doing someone and they're poking or they're triggering, and sometimes they do it intentionally. And so I felt having to,
it's like tapping someone under the table when they talk.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of like that. Like, you running over, but you gonna keep going anyway. So, and then you gonna call me out on it. No, I'm just teasing. But yes, that's pretty much what I'm saying. So
Poke in the back.
that's poking.
You was trying to poke me at the time when I was.
No, Brother
I
Carter.
was trying to literally give some information out there to
Brother Carter.
help somebody.
Y'all see how Brother Carter doing his wife this morning. We're gonna roll on down this road, and I'm gonna come over to my sister, and I'm gonna ask her, have you ever said something in the heat of the moment and you wish you can take it back?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
No, you can't.
We all
Yes. Okay. Can you give us a little more detail on that?
Oh. I'm gonna take you back to 19. No, I'm teasing.
Yeah.
This was some years back. It was with him. I think he's probably one of the only people.
So how long have you guys been together?
How do I say this? What is it? We've known. He's been my best friend for 22 years. My boyfriend for 15 years.
So y'all were
and my
together
husband
like
for
in
13.
school or something, in high school or something like
We
that?
met then.
We met in
In
high school.
And everybody was like denying.
Yeah.
Like literally when my mom met him and I met his dad, they said the same thing. My mom said, "Oh my gosh, he's so pretty. I'm gonna have some beautiful grandkids." I was like, "Mommy's my friend. This is not like I'm dating somebody, girl." But
She do it.
So I can tell you one thing you did in a relationship. You said somebody's mama one day. You got mad and you said somebody's mama.
No, I said something about him.
You ain't say about it. You ain't called.
No, my mother-in-law is amazing.
Yes.
What?
Yeah, no.
Don't bring.
I'll fight for that one.
I thought all y'all had a little something against the mother-in-law.
Baby, don't bring your story into nobody
Never
else's
no
story.
mama joke or nothing.
I can't say like it's always been like ideal. I think the older you get, the longer you're with someone. He said something to me one day. He's like, you know what? Why are you expecting her to treat you differently? Do you know how long you've known her? I said, you know what? She does treat your sister the same way she treats. God, okay, never mind. Mother. No.
Yes, I love that.
She's been awesome.
So it was
something I told you earlier.
Yes.
He has 2 ears and 1 mouth, and he exercises them accordingly.
Yeah.
And I didn't have full information. And I made a comment. I said, "You're such a insert word." I said, but I didn't have full information. And like I said, over the years, he has been very consistent. If he stands 10 toes down on something, if I say, I want to remodel a bathroom, he's going to look at me and say, "Oh gosh, she's going to call a contractor." Fine. Let me transfer the money to where it needs to go. Fine. I want to buy a car, which I don't do that. But if I said I wanted to, he's not really going to argue with me about it. He's gonna like, let me figure out where this need to go. Let me move the money to He's just gonna leave me alone on it. But if it's something he's emphatic about, he will communicate his feelings and his thoughts about it. And so in this instance, I didn't have full information and I made a judgment call and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry I said that. I don't even know if you know what I'm talking about.
I think so.
Confession is good on the Love and Victory
right,
show with the
right.
Val.
I mean, no, and I did go back and I apologized
Did you?
to him after.
Okay.
I was like, I was so wrong.
Okay.
I didn't have full information. And my daddy's big. Hey, daddy. He's probably watching. Hey, daddy. He's probably watching. But he's always big on give me full information with things before I have to make a decision on something. And I didn't have full information. So I made a judgment call. And I was like, oh.
And you paid for it.
And just with my conscience.
Yes.
Oh, I can't believe I talked to him like that. And he being who he is was not disrespectful. Didn't step outside of character. Just,
just like
that's
he
why
is.
He's still here.
All right, Alan, I'm gonna ask you the same question.
Cool, calm, and collected.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask you that same question.
You know what? I feel like I probably have. I'll be honest. I am, as she said, I'm somebody who is very calculating. And so yes, very much so.
A what?
A 10 key.
A 10 key.
Calculator.
Oh, calculator. Okay.
Because I'm CPA numbers.
Yeah.
That whole deal. You know what? This sounds bad. I might have to ask her if I have said something, because I know it wouldn't have been really outside to anybody, because it's very rare you get me upset. Or at least to where I outwardly say something, jump out of character. Like very rare is that time. The only person who can poke the bear is probably
that's usually that's usually.
So my question, to answer your question, my question is for you. Have I ever done such?
Yes.
Have you ever provoked me?
Yes.
Have I ever? Well, the original question was, have I ever said something that I shouldn't have said?
So the original question was, have you ever said something in the heat of the moment in which you can take it back?
You wish you could take back.
I think you wish you could. We had just had our first kid, and I was at home postpartum,
Yeah.
And he came home, and I'm like, I think I ate at like 1:00, but I've been up since 5. He came home. You didn't cook anything? When I say, if I had it in me to get out of that bed and the baby and the pump off of me and attack, I might have in that moment.
Yes.
Very true.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
That's good, because that was
how
something
insensitive of you. Really, you should have brought food home.
Let me tell you how the Lord worked it out. Because when that second one came along, we were in a pandemic, and he got to looking like, this is what you do all day.
Oh, he home? He get to see it.
I didn't change a single morning diaper that entire first year.
Wow.
Just he get up. You know how it is for postpartum.
Yeah.
We have a diaper that baby got.
Yeah.
Let me get up, change my diaper. You change the baby's diaper.
Literally.
Let me feed the baby. You give me some water. Yes, you can go back to sleep, and I won't assault you.
Yes.
So it was an eye-opening experience for him. Second go around, like,
see, I learned.
You did good job. Good job. Good job.
All righty.
All
righty. Brother Carter, I'm gonna ask you that same question. Brother Carter, I'm gonna ask you that same question.
Yeah. Over 50 years with you. We said some things. A whole lot of things we didn't say to each other.
You specifically. Is there anything that you said to me that you wish you could take back?
Yeah, I've already taken them back. That's it.
Okay, just give us one thing that you can give on air.
Oh, something on air?
Yes.
I don't know.
Yeah, give us one thing.
I'm trying to think of something I can put on air.
Okay, I'll go, and then you can think. I'll come back. So I'll give one thing that I wish. Well, I did go back and take, but it took me a minute. I reacted to something again that was very hurtful to me, and I don't think that he realized that what the situation was and how much it hurt me, because he was just in his natural move, and people are moving the way they move. And I went to him, and I was enraged because, one, I wanted him to address the situation, and he didn't see it as a big deal. And so me being the fiery young lady that I am, I went in. It's like, you didn't do that. You let them do that. You did. And I went in all 10 toes. Well, then what I did in that situation, I made that thing that was so hurtful to me, I took the attention off of that thing and I put it on myself. So he couldn't even process the thing. I was the thing. And so as I sat there and I thought about it, and I thought about that thing, and I'll just say it, it was my in-law family member. And I later calmed down. We had to talk about it later. And I had to apologize because I put all of that on him. And he didn't deserve that. And he couldn't even see or process what had happened because I was attacking him.
In your defense, a man should always be there to protect his woman. And I wasn't there to protect you. And even in the midst of my own family, when I thought it was a safe place. And so that's not on you. That's on me.
Well, what was on me, and I appreciate that so much. What was on me was my reaction.
Right.
You know, and I'm bringing all that up is that the damage is already done when you react to someone in that way. Even if you go back and you try to take it back, the damage is still there. And so I kind of wanted to have this conversation because we need to talk about poking the bear, and we need to talk about what that looks like in your reaction. And so I thought it would be great, even though I was teasing around, just talking about in
I told you want to therapize our household.
Yeah. I'm not stand here. I cannot stand here. Okay, well, what's harder for you to express in expressing how you feel, or staying silent when you're upset? Is it harder for you to express how you feel? And that can be anyone. Anyone can take this question. To express how you feel.
I think when it's hard for an individual to express how they feel, it's because most of the time they have been the emotion wasn't able to come out. Every time you had an opportunity to express yourself, the person you was expressing yourself to pushed it back with inward. So as a man, that most of us, and I speak on behalf of most of the men out there, that if you don't allow us a safe space to express our emotions or our feelings about something, then we just tend to shut down. And you don't get nothing now.
Okay, that's fair. You have anything you want to add to that?
Harder for me personally to express my feelings or to be silent. I would say probably depending on the person or the situation, it could go either way. If I'm being honest, I have no problem staying silent. And I say that because words are powerful.
Yes,
we have the ability to build a bridge with our words. We have the ability to speak life with our words,
and tear the bridge down.
Tear it down.
Yeah, but as a therapist, though, you are fairly aware that silence is just as dangerous as words sometimes.
Sometimes that silence is necessary.
It's necessary, yeah.
So as to say, if I decide to fall into the trap of going off on somebody just because I know that that's what they're wanting, they're provoking me, my silence is my weapon.
Right. Okay.
I don't have to justify things to anyone. I don't have to necessarily prove my point. It's like, if I know, like we talked about with the clip with the young lady on Christian, if you don't believe in Jesus, but you claim to be a Christian, I'm not going to argue with you. I had a pastor who said, I will never argue about you. Either you believe it or you don't. Either you understand it or you're willing to understand or you're not. So if I'm not going to argue with somebody.
And I had to learn that, and where my silence is just as, if not more powerful, because in
some instances they are. Yeah,
Brother Carter.
No, don't get distracted. Stay focused.
Brother Carter, don't poke the bear.
Okay. You see how you grabbed it? You got to learn how to stay focused. See, you lead too much to what you hear outside of your own head. And then
so what I was saying was I had to learn that my silence is my power in situations. I knew right then in that situation, let me come on and say it, but I've gotten to a place in my life that if I'm speaking, I want you to hear my position. If I'm silent, in a situation, I know that I have to reel back because I'm going to react in a situation that's not going to be in my best interest and not in your best interest. So sometimes it's better for me to walk away, go in silence, take a walk, go into the other room. Or if it's not always, Brother Carter, and I love that we are always able to be transparent with everyone, because I think one of the things that people do in relationships and marriages, we put things up to make it look like it's pretty all the time. Stop the foolishness. Every relationship has its
ups and downs,
and it's what do you call it? Those even flows. Every relationship does. And so, but I think it speaks a testament. It's a testament for us how long we've endured, and we haven't just endured. We enjoy each other.
Any lasting relationship gonna have some trials and tribulations.
Yes,
for
and
sure.
so I really
Nobody's exempt from that.
and I really do think that sometimes it is harder for me not to express, but I know it's in my best interest to express.
Yeah.
So that's my job.
You see, my whole deal is that you have to pick and choose your arguments.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you find yourself in a conversation with someone, and that individual have no reasoning, no, just going off
for nothing,
off the handle for what you're not making any sense right now.
Mm-hmm.
In those instances, like you said, it is better to just be silent.
Right.
Right now, you're talking to a person that's
out of control.
Yeah. I'll tell you something. We've had something similar where we've had a situation like that. Where person just going off and like, okay, why?
Yeah.
Like, what is the problem here? And I am somebody who I would just rather not put myself in that situation.
Mm-hmm.
And so in this situation with these individuals, I've kind of pulled myself back because I don't want to get to that point to where, I'm being poked, I'm being provoked, and then I act out because, like I say, I'm somebody who rarely gets outside of myself. And so when you see something like that, it's like, no, I'm just going to choose to back away and not put myself in those situations. And then, when somebody's going, the thing I always like to think to the wise poet Jay-Z once said, a wise man once said, don't argue with fools because somebody from the distance can't tell who is who. So I'm like, you know what? You can believe that. You can go off if you want to. You can make nonsense and argue, but I'm not going to entertain or let you provoke me to give you a response.
I like that. Can you break those words down? And I'm not a big fan of Jay-Z, but I like that. So what did those? Well, let me back up. It's not that I'm not a big fan.
Yeah.
When I hear music, I hear beats, and so I even have to tell my family sometimes. Can you break them words? I don't know what that's all about. The words sometimes
I don't. Lyrics, baby.
Sometimes I don't hear the lyrics, so I like that. Yes. So can you break that down?
So
again?
it's basically saying when somebody like a third party is seeing two people arguing, like one person is just as Brother Carter was saying, like could be ridiculous off the wall, like you don't even know what they're arguing about or discussing. But if you engage with that, a third party watching that is like, okay, who's right, who's wrong? It looks like two fools engaging and fighting. So so don't argue with fools because a person from a distance can't tell.
I wouldn't have even known that in his song. I wouldn't have even known he can write some lyrics like that. That's pretty doggone.
Jay-Z is a pastor to a whole lot of people.
That's true.
Oh Lord Jesus! Well, we don't get me on that because I seen something going around on the wide
They talking about the lyrics.
I know, no, not him. I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about how the younger generation are so caught up in the music and the party and everything else, but they can't quote a scripture. They can't tell you nothing about, but they can tell you everything about a song and who's out there. So don't even get me on that. Diamond, I see you all get engaged in here. You have something you want to bring in on that conversation, or you were just tuned in? There you go.
Yeah, I can, to answer the question, to be honest, it's actually harder for me to express myself versus staying silent when I'm upset. My problem is that sometimes I wait or I don't express myself initially, or I wait till the situation gets to like it's resolved. Not necessarily resolved, but it gets to a point that I can't take it anymore.
Right.
And that's when I,
express.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I think we have a therapist, I'll let you kind of give her some wisdom on that.
With that, I think there's a time and a season. What is that? Ecclesiastes 3? There's a time and a season for everything. And so if you're in a public setting, I'm sorry, I literally went back to
something just popped in.
Instance where we were out and about at I don't know if it was like an engagement party or something for one of our close friends. And we weren't getting along at that point. And it was not the time to go in and address, well, this was said and I didn't like that. And I know you should have. It wasn't the time. What we needed to do was put on a smiling face, be a happy couple, because it wasn't about us. But when we got home, that was the time and place to address it. And so I think some people feel like they have to say something in the moment. You don't. Not always. I always tell people, if you have beef, I'll use that word, with someone, or an issue that needs to be brought up and addressed, and having an audience just means it gives people an audience to act the fool. When you do it, when it's just the two of you, a lot of times people are more willing to be vulnerable. They're willing to be honest. They're willing to be open and resolve things because there's no audience. You don't have to look hard. You don't have to look like, so.
I like that. And that is so true. But I actually want to push back a little bit for someone that, and I knowing my granddaughter, and she is a person that is not as, she's very profound. She's very intelligent. And that's one of the, just talking to her over the years. And that's one, she's always had a safe place with me to talk about anything. And one of the things that I've watched her grow and really work through, is she's working through, is the fact of expressing how she feels. Because sometimes the silence of not saying anything have other people on the other side. When you do speak up, it makes you look like you're being argumentative, or they have a problem with it because they are not accustomed to you pushing back. And so
Diamond is more like me. She laid back and just take it. And then all of a sudden, can't take it no more. Then you say something.
Yeah, so what advice would you give to a young person or to her?
So I would, recommend taking the one down approach, meaning
one down approach.
And when you're doing that, utilize I statements. I feel, I need. When talking to someone, if I say, well, Diamond, you always do this, and then you made me feel that way, it puts you on the defense. However, if I say, well, hey, Diamond, I want to talk about, a situation we had, a couple weeks ago. I felt accosted when these statements were made, and I really need some resolve. I'd like to talk and work things out because I want to feel better about the situation. I want us to work as far as how the dynamic of our relationship is. I want that to work. Now, when I say it in that regard, I'm not saying you, and because when I say you, it always looks like I'm pointing a finger, but I've always got these coming back. It always looks like I'm pointing a finger. When I say, well, Diamond, you did this, and then you said that, I want to tell whomever the individual is, like, how I feel about it. I always encourage people, hey, write it down if you need to. Because when you're ruminating, that means it's all here. Get it out on paper. It's something profound, powerful, and cathartic about just taking pen or pencil and putting it to paper versus sitting and festering in the thoughts, which leads to possible anxiety, overthinking, overstressing. And believe it or not, oftentimes the experience that we have may be within us. I don't know the specifics of the situation, but a lot of times we will talk ourselves into a situation, and that other person may or may not, I don't know the situation, but they may or may not have seen it that way.
Right.
I always say before we came in, I said, I always wondered how this room was set up, like how everyone's sitting with the camera angles. I know that now.
Wow.
When talking to someone, like even in office with clients, I can see what's behind them. They can see what's behind me, but we can be in the same room, but our scope and our perspective, our lens can be different. So I may see a tarantula behind your head. You may see a T-Rex behind my head. I can't see behind myself. All I can see is you and what's behind your head. So when we look at a situation, know that the overarching details of a situation may be the same. When I hear two people tell a story about a conflict, the overarching details are usually the same. It's those minute, small details that may be different. And that's how they felt about something, what they thought about a situation, how they internalized it, which may be, those are the things that usually are different. And so if you feel a certain way, silence can be beneficial in helping you to process before talking. I always encourage people, don't go into something heated, right? Because you can say, especially without all the details, you can say something or do something that can be detrimental or damning to the situation. But if you take time, pray about it, think about it, process it for yourself, self-reflect, and then approach that person, the outcome is usually a lot better. Again, I don't know the details of the situation, but
long story short, what she just said was, it's important.
It's the Carter version.
It's important.
The Carter version.
I'm going to tell you just what you said. It's important that you try your best to understand the other individual outside of yourself versus just trying to speak on what you believe and how you feel on your own behalf. it's a two-way street.
Is that what you were saying?
Yeah, that's what she was saying.
We can't speak.
Yes, that was what she was saying.
Yes, Brother Carter. That is the Carter version.
No, that's not what you want to go ahead. Go ahead. There you go.
The short of the long.
That's a short version of what she
short
was
of the
saying.
long.
That's a no.
The short of the long is self-reflect first.
Yes.
Be willing to sort through your feelings, sort through your thoughts. When you communicate, use I statements where you can. And I know I'm saying that without having taught you and role with you.
Yeah.
Use I statements where you can.
Our statements mean it.
I think, I feel, I need, I hope.
Our statements.
I,
Okay.
the word like I.
Yeah. Okay.
See, that's why I had
Got you. All right. Got you. All right.
But be willing to keep in mind that's how you feel. That may not at all be how the other person feels. And in that dialogue, you may hear something completely different from their perspective.
Wow. I think that's really good. And it's so funny that you're breaking that down that way. Diamond, first of all, before I move on, how did that help? Or what did you get out of that?
Yeah,
She say Papa just confused the hell out of me.
Yeah, I understand where you coming from, but I think my thing is when you know someone is intentionally provoking you, or like I 100% agree with what you're saying, but sometimes it doesn't always be like that where you can express your side or it's just one-sided. So what would you do in that situation, like where you're hearing the person out but they're not hearing you out, and then you blow up? That's where
that's what she said.
So then if you tried it and then they tried it, then it's your choice. You always have a choice in a situation. If you choose to distance yourself, not deal with that person, they have to deal with the consequence of knowing I tried it with them after they tried talking to me. So if you choose to set a boundary and say, I'm not dealing with you, we can't communicate like this, or we can't function. If this is going to be one-sided, or if I'm going to constantly be provoked every time we talk, then I choose not to deal with it.
So from this perspective, I love that, because that is some feedback. Well, what happens when you're in a situation and you're not able to distance yourself, but it keeps going? I mean, I don't know. I don't know a situation that I would be in that.
I'm trying to think of one too. I was about to say,
Let's say, for example, we can just say, for example, like, let's say you live in a toxic household or a family household, and you're trying to transition. What would you do in the meantime when you have to deal with those certain people?
There you go.
Oh, in my house, on my mom. No. If it's in the house, if I have maybe my own room,
that's where the biggest trauma is in the house.
Right.
Yeah.
If it's in my house, I might just be, if I'm honest, I might just be there to sleep. I might be at my granny's house. I might be at my auntie's house. I might be at a friend's house. And then I would be stacking my cash to make a move. Even if it's a matchbox.
Yes.
Efficiency is mine. It's all mine. And my place of peace should be where I pay my rent or my mortgage, if nothing else.
Oh, baby, that was a mic drop there. And it's that needed to come outside of me. And because nobody but God. And that's why I wasn't trying to shut Brother Carter down, but
I didn't even notice.
Oh, see, he didn't read the room. I knew that was something that my granddaughter needed and wanted to hear, and I did not want to be that person inflicting how I would do it. She had a doctor in the room.
And self-respect, self-love is pivotal. If you got if I got no coffee to pour in my cup to give to him, you got to fill up your cup first.
Yeah,
you got to take care of you first.
There you go. Period. All righty then. Oh Lord, did that help? That 100%. Okay. All righty then. I actually, for myself, want to say thank you.
What would you do in those instances, Valerie?
Well, I'm glad you asked. Because for me, in a situation like that, and it's a place that I'm living
volatile situation in your house,
in my house, something is going to change.
Children gone crazy, husband gone crazy. There's just the dishes everywhere in the kitchen. Ain't nobody done nothing around the house, and you came home from a hard day's journey.
Okay. Well, something's gonna change. Something's gonna change. Oh, I'm gonna start off with, come on, guys. Are we, what we doing here?
And really,
I'm gonna start off that way because that wouldn't be the first.
She didn't say
time.
that's how it would end. She said that's how it would start.
I'm gonna start off that way. Come on, guys.
A bell.
I'm gonna start off that way, and then if people tend to not want, they want to act like they don't hear, or they want to, well, what's wrong with you? You tripping? Then okay, I started off
Right.
so we can address this.
That's what you said.
I started off, hey guys,
I'm gonna
what's
give you
going
the
on?
opportunity.
I'm
To choose your fate.
I'm like over there. That ain't the granny I know. I don't know.
You wanna jump in okay, would you give them? And these guys, y'all can jump in, but see, they being petty over here today. Go ahead, and turn your mic on. How would your granny
No,
start?
I'm with my granny. One thing about you, you think things through before you approach a situation. So if you're gonna,
They gonna get it.
once they poke the bear,
Once
that's
they
on
get
you.
it, once it come out, it's coming out.
I'm gonna start off always with, "Hey guys."
Hey guys.
You know, it's gonna be that gentleness. It's gonna be, "Hey guys, hey, how y'all doing? Yeah, y'all see all this shit?" And they gonna act like, "Oh,
Oh, y'all want to come for me now.
y'all want to play?" Okay, so I'm
You
gonna
want to
say,
poke the bear now.
"Okay,
Right.
hey guys, y'all don't see this shit?
That part.
I done gave you two.
That part.
By three,
It's on.
wouldn't that be about right?"
Oh, Lord.
Tasmanian mama starts going.
Well, I guess I
So
think
what's the moral to the story?
The moral to the
story is what?
the moral to the story is you give, like she said, you got to take time to take that in, process it. You don't just come out, in that way of, you.
But there are people out there that are like that though. People they don't know how to not
Well, here's the thing:
approach situations in
you
a calm manner. They
you
just
can't-
Where emotional intelligence comes from.
That's
Yeah.
right, and you can't change who they are. All you can do is change how you're going to react to them, or if you're going to choose to be in that space, or allow them in that space, or you're going to let them take you down. So that's why I like to throw softballs. I start off very soft. Samir. Hey guys, why are you laughing at me?
Because a softball is hard.
Is there?
Softball is
Well, that's what I like. Okay, so how would you diagnose me?
I'm not diagnosing nobody today. I'm off the clock.
I've learned in my growing, in my matured times in life, that when
I love how you said that. I ain't diagnosing you.
when-
You are what you are.
when you come at me sideways, I try to think of look at a beautiful thing about the individual that's coming at me.
Oh wow.
Like if my wife come at me just hold I said, "Oh girl, your hair sure is pretty today."
He really do. You know what? And
Oh girl, just look at your lips. You just got that lipstick on them.
I kid you not, and
I love
he really does do
You
that.
gotta take the walls down.
And you see how instantaneously that just kind of.
Yeah.
Oh, thank
I
you.
learned that as I
situation.
yes. I've learned that. I had a situation at my job, and I work around a lot of females, and they come in with female feelings and stuff like that.
Here you go, y'all. You see?
And so,
Here you go, y'all. Here you go.
No feelings.
and so she come in just hoorah. I'm like, wait a minute, what? I ain't sleep with her. What's So I'm thinking I got to look at her and find something that's nice about her that I can compliment to try to compliment one thing. She just I said, girl. Until finally she said, "I want to be upset right now, but you ain't making it easy."
And it had nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
And most of the time, people's emotions
Yes.
and what they're projecting on you. And I had this conversation with a young lady, I think a day or two ago. And someone had did something to that young lady. And I said, most of the time, their interaction with you or what they're projecting on you has nothing to do with you. And we can, and we can ruin relationships and walk away from relationships that didn't require that because we make it about us. And so I think the moral to my story is and I love what you were saying, is that I throw softballs first because I've learned, because I used to throw grenades. And
Yes, throw softballs.
I throw
Yes, throw
softballs
softballs.
first. And so, with that, she been around.
Mhm.
And so I've thrown softballs, even if it's a lot better than grenades.
Mhm.
And so I've also learned that
Softballs are pretty big, though. You know that.
well, it's better than
big.
it's
Better than a grenade, though. That's why I'm like, yes, throw the softball.
It's better than a grenade.
I'll say that's progress.
Yes. And so I think that when you learn that, and I had to learn that, girl, you ain't all that. They ain't, every situation isn't about you.
Mm.
And so I was sharing with the individual, that's where that person is. Don't take that on and make that be your life.
Mhm.
Don't make that be your, what's the word I want to say? You don't make that be the picture of you, how they are reacting to you.
Mhm.
And
You know,
so
I want to say something on that. I think that is so true. Actually, something with both of what you guys said is, I do believe that I've learned that from this lovely young lady right here. Is that is so true. Oftentimes when people are kind of snapping back at you and have an attitude with you, it literally has nothing to do with you. And so that is where you should take the kind of one down approach. One of the things that I do is when I get emails from clients, I'm responding back, I will sometimes have her double check me. And one of the things that she said earlier that I think is powerful for everybody to think about, when you're in those situations, don't point the finger. Don't be like, you did this, you did that, you did this, because that then in turn provokes the other person.
Right, they're going to defend.
Exactly. So I've learned even in that, be like, okay, hey, let's stick to more to the facts that happen. But like, you didn't do that, and then you didn't do this, and that just, takes that whole thing to a different level. And when somebody is coming at you, when it wasn't even about you, and then you point that finger back and throw those fingers and it just ends up spiraling and makes the whole situation worse when it didn't have to be that way.
I think that, and even circling all of this back to Diamond and what she said, I think that if you can, Diamond, in whatever situation that's going on, if it's a situation for you or someone else, encourage that person to not make it be about them and how that person is reacting to, say, you. Don't allow that person to project on you how they feel about themselves. That was the thing that I wanted to make sure I circle back to. I don't want you or anyone that's close to you to allow someone else to deposit their negativity inside of you, because then you'll walk around with that becoming you and how you interact with folks. So.
That's why it's so very, very important that you learn yourself.
Yes.
So very, very important that you understand who you are as an individual and who you want to be as an individual. If you want peace, you got to seek peace. You just can't put yourself in a chaotic situation seeking peace all the time. I want to be at peace, but I want to go into this chaos all the time. It don't work that way. And so when you're having and when you're engaging with someone, everybody's not going to see you eye to eye the way you see yourself. They bring in their own perspective of who they are and dumping it down on you as an individual. And so I, as an individual, have to be able to just say, that's not me. Let me deflect that right quick and not take it personal, because, he or she or they had a hard day at the job somewhere, and they came home and they brought the frustrations to the house. Or they was at home, they had a hard time at home, and they brought the frustrations to work. And they won't take, no, I wasn't there. So now I'm not. So the more to the story is just what I'm saying is, just be intentional about who you want to be as an individual and work toward that person.
I want to add to that. Hi, Mom. Well, I shout.
Hey, Mom.
Hey, Mom. No,
what's your mama name?
Mama D.
Mama D.
Mama D.
You got a Mama D?
I got a Mama. pull. I call her Hurricane.
All righty.
No, she handles business. She gets it done.
Shout out to Mama D there.
But I'm very appreciative for both perspectives I got from my parents. My mom was very much so, no, business got to get handled. You got to get it done. You don't stop until it gets done. Like both my parents are very hard workers. I love that piece. But definitely. But one of the things my dad made me do, yes, I say made. My mama made me learn certain scriptures. My daddy made me learn the Serenity Prayer at like 14 and was hung up in the bathroom of all places. Sit on the toilet. Memorize it. Fine. Okay. But it says
he
God
went through
me-
something in his life, I guess, where he
I'm
got
sure.
the Serenity Prayer.
Yeah.
And everything. Yeah.
So he
Been
said-
there, done that too, bro.
It says, God grant me the serenity,
Yeah.
I say, or the peace to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things that I can, and wisdom to know the difference. I learned that at 14. By 24, that had a lot different meaning. And I'm still 25, but by 10 years after that, it had different meaning. And one of the things he's always taught me is don't allow yourself to get out of character. If you maintain control of yourself in the midst of any situation, you maintain the power. In that situation. You let go of your power when you start acting out of character.
Right.
Give that person control of
There
you.
you
It's like
go.
you become their puppet.
Oh,
So always maintain and exercise self-control.
that
If you need to walk away,
walk away.
just walk away.
I love that. And that
You need to walk to the freezer and pour you a cold shot of cognac. Do that.
right.
Whatever helps situation.
I want to have this because I can't go to question and answers without like asking this question. Do you believe that every argument needs to be resolved right away, or silence sometime is the answer? Okay, and since y'all both went there, I'm gonna leave you to last, and I'm gonna start with my brother to here.
You know what? One of the things that I have learned is that it is okay to agree to disagree. I used to not be that way, but like, no, you have to see this, and like, how do you not understand? Like, this is the way it is. Well, but if somebody walked every day in your shoes, then they would probably see things the way that you do. That's not the case. So sometimes when you argue, have disagreements, see different things different ways, well, we are all a culmination of our own experiences.
There you go.
And everybody's experiences
It's
are
different.
So no, sometimes things can't be resolved in one go. And you know what? That's okay.
Right.
That's okay. You can always circle back. Life changes, perhaps people learn, hey, maybe you weren't even in the headspace to even understand, because that happens too, where, hey, as we were talking about, maybe it's a rough day, bad day. Today's just not the day. Maybe you're sleepy, maybe you're tired, maybe you're hungry. You just can't comprehend things.
Right.
Well, that's okay. Let's put a pin in this. Let's come back to it later when we both have clear heads.
Yes.
And it is perfectly okay to disagree.
All right, Brother Carter.
What's the question?
I knew he was going to ask me that. Do you believe every argument needs to be resolved right away, or silent, or is silence sometime the answer?
Yeah.
You believe every argument needs to be handled right away?
No.
Okay.
No. I think, as I've been around over 6 decades now, I've learned that you have to understand who the individual is that you may be engaged with the conversation with. Some conversations, depending on who the individual is, it's just not worth having to resolve to it. But if the person means something to you, you're gonna have to face this difficult conversation and have to find some kind of resolve somewhere down the road, because it's not gonna stop. If this girl gets something in her head and she want to keep talking about it, it's no need of me saying I'm not gonna have this conversation, because it's gonna come back up tomorrow. And the best way to face that, because I love her, is to face it. And so, people that don't matter, then so silence is okay by me.
I love that you said that in your. Oh, give me a kiss.
All
right. That's my baby right there. And now on to you. Same questions.
That's so multifaceted.
That's okay.
So shout out to Nate and Evelyn, who might be watching. We have a mentor couple. They married us. They did our premarital counseling.
Oh, wow.
I seen a Nate somewhere on here.
Oh, he might be on there.
Yeah.
So no, one of the things, so funny. We just learned this about 2 years ago. Our first 2 years of our marriage, we were in 2 completely different marriages, but the same marriage. We just learned that. It's like, what? That wasn't like that for you? Okay. So no, and one of the things that Evelyn and I talked about was, so long as you are willing to keep having the conversation, you don't have to resolve the issue with the first conversation. Sometimes silence is necessary. Introspection, different perspective, self-reflection, all of that is necessary at times to resolve an issue. Another thing to piggyback off of what Alan said earlier, if you're going through something, you may be lashing out based on what you're going through, and it has absolutely nothing to do with that other person.
Yes.
In those instances, silence may be necessary.
Yes.
I'm teaching people now, it's not necessary to keep a fight going just for the sake of fighting.
Yeah.
Right.
Sometimes it's okay to just let go of the fight and say, you know what?
We'll come back to this tomorre.
We don't have to come back at all. Like, you know what?
Yeah.
You were right. You got it.
Mhm.
Similar to what he said, having a different perspective. I absolutely love that I married somebody who does not think like me. And I'll say that again. I love that I married somebody who does not think like me. I use the example of, we took a trip once and we were walking through, was it Miami airport?
Yeah.
He knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
And
the
we're-
dirtiest
right?
filthy.
Oh.
Somehow,
Disgusting.
I'll say this homeless looking man. I won't say he was homeless. I'll say he was homeless looking, homeless-ish, right? So we're walking, we're having a conversation, and on cue, good job by you. I was like, babe, I think somebody's following us. He's like, no, they're not. Babe, I think somebody's following us. And when I just stopped, faced him, and just started a random conversation that was not what we were originally talking about, he jumped right in and kept going. And just as I suspected, the guy walks up to us and he's like, hey, where's the train? No, we walking to the train. I was like, let me send him the other way. It's back that way, down the corridor, all the way around. He's like, okay. Now he's walking, holding like a Walmart bag with a shoebox, and it was weird. So he starts walking. We get to the train doors and we're just standing waiting. And all of a sudden he could see, I'm 5'6", he's 6'5". He could see the man. And all of a sudden my backpack I get picked up by my backpack. And he moves me in front of him to the other side because he could see the man almost as close to me, but behind me as we are now. And I use that example to say he could see things that I couldn't see.
Right.
And I could see things initially that he couldn't see. And if we thought exactly alike,
Yes.
we were robbed in Rio. We might have gotten robbed again.
Yes.
So it's like, I need someone, not just one, I need someone who thinks and sees things differently than me. And I need to be open to accept his influence, for him to be able to accept mine,
powerful.
and be able to say, okay, well, you see this way, I see this way. How can we mold and meld this situation together to make it work for the both of us? How can we compromise?
Because both views are important.
Are important, yes.
Yes, 100%.
And then one good thing on that, and like credit to you on that, because depending on the person, depending on the situation, when I moved her, somebody like, why are you pushing me? Why are you moving me?
Yes.
Like, you know, in certain situations, some people would have done that.
Yes.
But she just went with the flow. That's where the, kind of trust and communication comes in. So yeah.
Wow, that's deep.
good.
That was real good. Reading the room and then really having both.
Especially the same man behind it that we just directed him another direction.
And he right there.
Yeah.
I was like,
wow. Okay, I know. Okay, Ken.
I'm sorry.
Prue,
I'm sorry.
Prue, that's
So
okay.
I got one question for the therapist. You're in the moment,
okay.
and things are heated up.
Okay.
You're not in your right mind right now. You're not in your therapy mind right now. You're not analyzing things properly right now.
Mhm.
Can those instincts kick in at that moment of you just knowing how to handle situations? Or I'm trying to ask this question.
I think I
I'm
know
trying
where you're
to.
going. So if you're in the moment and someone is triggering or someone is going off, will those things that you're saying naturally
That you teach everybody all the time.
do they pop up or
Do
they
they-
Like with him?
No,
Just
yeah,
in the
whether it's
picture.
with him or whether it's in
I have
any
a question
situation.
for you to piggyback off that. So, I'm gonna give you guys a perfect example. Think back to our daughter's first birthday party, where we had a whole mishap where we had a birthday party at a park for our daughter. This other family rolls up, starts unloading their barbecue pit in the middle of our birthday
up for you.
party,
What?
and be like, "Oh, we have this space," and blah blah blah. And so, think back there. Did your same lessons come into place there when you were heated.
What you teaching everybody else over here what to do? Well, you tell everybody else be calm and walk away.
The lady, she cussed me out, and I went over and talked to
no,
her.
that's not the question. Did your thing? All the things you teach us to do? Did that kick in at that moment?
I think it did.
It did. Okay.
The lady called me out of my name, and I still went over and talked to her.
Oh, that is so. You're a different.
Well, because at the time I was like,
married.
it's 2024. I was like, we're two Black women,
Right.
Okay.
Like I'm
not giving
First
you
of
that.
all, this is not going to happen.
Mhm.
Yes, you all just bomb rushed my baby's party. I was like, at this point, it's over. My family's gone,
Mhm.
so you can have the pavilion. I said, but it's 2020 at the time, 2024. I'm not going to attack you.
Mm.
And there is obviously a misunderstanding here. And the lady, she cried. She's like, I'm so sorry. That baby's going to remember that. Yeah, no, she won't. She's one. She won't remember it.
Mhm.
My family will. I will. And again, the moment has passed. It's over. My guests had already left because of all the chaos.
Yeah.
Like Parks and Recreation double booked us.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so
it had nothing to do.
it had nothing to do with either one of us.
Yes.
But she just came in with big energy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh gosh, it was so much going on. I'm worried about my child's safety. I almost grabbed somebody's child trying to keep kids separated.
Oh,
they
wow.
just swarmed. We were at a pavilion. They just
Yeah.
I was like, oh my
wow.
gosh.
Wow.
See, I asked you this question for a reason.
Mhm.
I knew that your instinct would kick in, and so we out here. We talking to people about putting scriptures in their lives and stuff like that when trials and tribulations come into their lives, and just the very thing you just said, those things will kick into existence for you when you put them in the tables of your heart.
Yes.
And so you have what you're teaching the people out there. You have that on the tables of your heart. You don't have to read about it. You don't have to think about it. It just comes naturally. And that's what the scriptures need to be doing for us out there that are going through life trials and tribulation. Man, those scriptures mean something if you believe in them.
Yeah.
If you believe in them, they can help you and walk you through situations in life, just like there's listening to your therapist, you're training in your therapist. It's just all play a part of just helping you, guide you, and direct you in the path of righteousness.
And I will say this on that she is actually very right. It was heated at first, and so I'm trying to step in because then there was a guy coming, like they just unloaded everything, but in the heat of the moment, it took a second, but she did kind of revert back to herself. And then like she mentioned, even after it, she went up to the lady, hey, let's discuss, talk about this. I don't want to want you to leave feeling bad. It's okay, it happened, but let's get to a better place, even though we might never see this lady again. Probably right. Still, that's the human thing to do,
that part
to get to a good place.
And I like that you guys wrapped it back up with, let's talk about this thing here. I know that I'm so sorry, Carter crew, we're not going to be able to really have that breakdown discussion, but I do want to bring them in the room if you can. Guys, read some of the comments that are out there. Let's go ahead and do that because they have taken the time to stay on, and I am so grateful. I think the numbers hit this morning over 4,000, and I think that we're sitting now at about 3,600 that are still in here. Let's go ahead and bring in some of their comments.
Yes. So before we went on break, I do remember somebody had to cut the crap, and we did say we were going to read it, so I'm going to read it from Patricia Granger on Facebook.
Okay.
She said, if you know there's a major, let me put it up, sorry. If you know there's a major change about to occur that will affect the way things are done and you have hard dates, share that with everyone involved. Don't wait until the past deadline and end up putting everyone else in a bind. Cut the crap.
I know that's right. Come on now. Cut the crap.
And then back when we were talking about the tea in the streets with Michelle Obama, Stephanie and Cam Brown had something to say about that. So Stephanie said, disappointing others doesn't mean you're wrong. Healthy people make healthy choices. Shout out to Michelle.
Yes, very good. Hey, shout out to Stephanie.
Yep, shout out to Stephanie too. And then Karen Brown said, child, I can write a book. Don't poke the bear. Silence is powerful. Silence can provoke. Silence can be peaceful.
I love that. Okay.
And then we have some more comments. Oh, she did. I kind of mixed that up. She did mention something about Michelle Obama's post on Tina Street. She said, Michelle Obama being her authentic self, I appreciate her for that. She also was still grieving the passing of her mother. I'm learning and accepting her true self.
Yes. I love that too.
Good.
Okay, then Laura from Facebook said, "Bless you guys for such an amazing show."
Oh, thank you,
Bless you.
Laura.
And then Deandra Phillips from YouTube said, "Your auntie is watching."
Shout out.
Shout out, Auntie.
And then Karen Brown Karen Brown is coming in with a lot of comments.
Okay, come on, Karen.
She said, "We are not always the original beneficiaries of some of the softball grenades being thrown."
There you go. That's right.
That is true.
Mhm.
She also said that we are not always, not that one. We are not reciprocals.
Receptacles.
Receptacles.
Ooh,
Trash cans.
for other trash.
Mhm.
And then Rohit said something. He said, "Someone has messed up my time management skills in a work setting while I was focused on getting my tasks done. I also felt that I was being thrown under the bus. I stood up for myself and was able to get them done at least. I have learned to deal with working with that type of person."
Very good, Rohit. I tell you.
And that is all we have for comment.
All righty then. This has been a great show.
Good show.
Great show. You know, I think we have all learned something and we have some takeaways. And it was just so refreshing having you on the show today.
Mhm.
I have to honestly say, I didn't know how God was going to take it. I had my way of, I thought it was, but I love to have God just kind of take over. And it really blessed my heart to be able to have a conversation in a safe place with two very, very real, down to earth people. And of course, always having my brother, my husband, my best friend by my side, where he allows me to be all that I am and I allow him to be all that he is. That's what makes us great.
Yeah,
And
in spite of the kick under the table.
Well, it's so petty. I love this. And I love that. But I want to say to the Carter crew once again, I love you guys. Our team loves you. We appreciate you guys. We have something special that is going to start in May. And before we go, I need them to kick that in. Is it up? Is it keyed up for us to?
Yes, ma'am. It's right.
Okay. Can you go ahead and cue it? You want to give a little? Is it a synopsis on what it's about? It's on the.
So this is our new segment coming in May, and it's kind of our way of coming clean. But before I go into detail, I'm going to play it for you guys.
There you go. There you go.
This is Come Clean, where we talk about those truths that we keep hidden from ourselves and others.
I'll go. Okay, take it. I want you guys to think about that on the Love and Victory show with Val. We always want to grow. We don't want to just get up here and talk and ramble. We want to be able to walk away from this show. You spend 2 hours with us. I hope that you're getting something out of it. I hope that some type of trinket have been dropped in your life that changes you or help you, inspire you to want to do better. And so we sat down and we had a powwow as a team, and we said, okay, how can we continue to bring the conversation forward? So this new segment is not about other people. It's about you, the individual. So, we have the cut the crap. We're going to kind of, I know y'all love it.
And them leaning into it already. They making the cut the crap about themselves.
We are, it's not that the cut the crap is going away. It's evolving, and it's evolved into, come on, Diamond, come on there. What is it evolving into?
Coming clean and holding yourself accountable.
Yes. And, we can joke, we can play, but we got to come clean. You can't even start to heal if you're not willing to really self-reflect and start the hard work to do better. So I'm excited about this conversation. Aaron, I know I've had everybody has been quiet, but I want these guys here, before we go, if you can look into the camera, tell them what you do and how they can find you.
Sure thing.
All righty.
I am Mrs. Carter's executive administrative coordinator. I keep her on track. In all seriousness, I help keep her on track with the many endeavors that she does.
Okay, Aaron, that wasn't for you to tell them. I was pointing at the Pruitts. Okay, but I did call your name. I apologize. She really do keep me on track. You see how she let y'all know? Go ahead, Aaron. Go ahead. She really does. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Aneika Pruitt.
You go your mic. I'm
Oh, sorry.
Mhm.
Hi, Aneika Pruitt, therapist.
I know you want to
Um,
in me.
Yeah, she just
really-
leans
I really
in.
do.
She loves her man.
No, I'm a therapist, owner at Cadia Counseling and Wellness. I can be reached at cadiacounseling.com. That's CADIA, cat, apple, dog, igloo, apple, counseling.com. I have social media accounts. My business coach and CPO over here is working with me on posting myself.
Yeah.
Content to come,
Mhm.
but cadiacounseling.com.
All right. Then can they get counseling online or?
Oh, yeah. I
Yeah.
offer sessions in person, telehealth. I have special certifications in perinatal mental health.
Okay.
And that is for individuals who are pregnant, postpartum, planning to get pregnant. And that's not just women, but men too, who are also involved in that group. So I specialize in that area, substance abuse, addiction, other mental health issues, as you can probably imagine.
Yeah.
Couples.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Should be very busy this time.
Oh, I stay busy.
Wow.
I barely made it.
and busy.
That's amazing. Okay.
Lot going on.
All righty.
Right.
And to you.
Sure. I am Alan Pruitt. I'm a CPA and owner of Pruitt Prep CPA. And so, as I talked about earlier, tax season just ended. And so if you're a business owner or entrepreneur and you look at your tax bill, like, look, I got to pay how much? Then go hit PruittPrepCPA.com and reach out. And you can find us on all socials as well at Pruitt Prep CPA.
All righty then. I guess I can end this, but no, I can't.
Do you have the eagle today?
I do.
Yes, sir.
Man,
Let the people see the eagle, man.
There
Always
you
the eagle,
go.
man.
There you go.
Absolutely.
And Brother Carter, what do you want to leave the people with? You're always so wise.
Yeah. Thank you. Daily dose of scriptures with your prescription.
Oh,
Amen.
That's good.
wow. And the mic is off. Thank you. We'll see you guys again. Look at the camera and tell them bye. We'll see you next time.